Enter Carlos Slim, America Movil, which is headquartered in Mexico City and is the dominant mobile phone company in Latin America.
Right, so it started out its life as the mobile offering in Mexico. That's Carlos Slim, he started that. But then they bought Telmex, which is the fixed line operator in Mexico. And then they went all the way down through Latin America with businesses in Brazil and Colombia and Peru and all those sorts of places. Plus, it in fact has been expanding into Europe recently. And it's the same suite of products: mobile phones, fixed lines, cable television, satellite TV, etc., etc.
But this is your play into Latin America. Market cap
Exactly.
$71.2 billion, PE of 15.7, and dividend yield here of 1.7%. So I suppose you have to start with whether you believe in the growth potential of the Latin American market.
Which, of course, we do. I mean, why wouldn't we? It's a fabulous part of the world. It has a great climate. It's got lots of people. It's an emerging environment. Sure, they have the same sort of political nonsense and run around, but, you know, that's fairly normal. Mexico, Brazil, I think, you know, they're developing countries similar to ours. The same kind of excessive exposure to resources exports, it must be said, Mexico. So in the core market, it's been battling a little bit because Mexico looked fantastic when oil was trading at $120. Doesn't look so marvelous when it's at 45. But, you know, that's how we roll.
Throughout this discussion, we've spoken about the regulatory environment and the pressure on these mobile operators, which makes the business model look less attractive for that capex required.
Yes.
What is happening in Latin America?
In Latin America in general, it's mixed. But in Mexico in particular, it's not a fabulous situation. You've got the same kind of anxiety from the government that the dominant player is too dominant. And that's because they wiped up the mobile as well as the fixed line business early and got into a much more dominant position than even we have here. So imagine you had like one super large company in Mexico and you owned the fixed line business. There was no one really to compete with them. So that comes then to question
So the threat
pricing,
of that regulation.
But having said that, America Movil in the Mexican context is regarded as their national champion. So they don't want to kind of hit them too hard. And Carlos Slim is like the, you know, most fabulous Mexican of them all.
Does that translate into a hot investment theme?
Well, I think it is fine. I think they have the same kind of upside that we've associated with these businesses just because the product sells itself. I mean, you don't have people going around complaining that they can't get enough time on their phones. Everybody wants to spend more time on their phones as the handsets get better, as people love to communicate. So really, even if the service is terrible, people just hope that it gets better. It's not like they stop using it. So I think you've got to like it. I think what's interesting about this one is it doesn't really offer you anything different, though, than what you can get in our home market, which is why I would say it's hot, but I don't own them.
All right, that's an interesting little addition there.